I am Samina Tariq at a Foodie's Kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how I prepared this roast chicken with vegetables and joint leg of lamb. I'm showing a couple of roast recipes today. One is the chicken roast and one is lamb. I have a lamb joint which I marinated last night, but here I'm just showing you a lamb shank. In the marinade ingredients, I have some peeled ginger and garlic, cumin seeds, roughly crushed coriander, red chili powder, salt. I have some papaya. Now it's best to find raw papaya and use it with the skin as a tenderizer, but I couldn't find any and that's all I had in my freezer. I have some olive oil here, some plain yogurt, salt, fresh herbs which are mint leaves and coriander leaves, and I have some lime and lemon wedges. So if you have 1 to 1.5 kg meat, I'm just showing you the ingredients for that. So just putting a handful of mint and coriander leaves in there, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of red chili. Now if you want to use the coriander and cumin, is entirely up to you, or you can skip it out and use some other dried herbs or something you want to use. And the oil. Now I'm going to add all the ingredients except the yogurt. If you use the yogurt just now, it's going to turn into a chutney, which we don't want. So just squeezing the lemon and lime. Or you can just use the juice. But once you're just squeezing the lemon or lime, some of the juices get out to the skin as well, and it gives it nice smell and nice flavor. If you want to add a bit of heat to this marinade, you can blend 1 green chili with it as well, but I'm just skipping it out just now. The papaya. So I'm just going to blend the ingredients. It's a small piece of meat, so I'm just using 1 tablespoon of yogurt and mixing it with the ingredients. Taking a knife to pierce the meat piece a few times all over. If it's a bigger piece, you can always make the slits. Well, this is quite a small piece. So I'm just going to add the marinade. And rubbing it with my hands. This should take a good few minutes to make sure that the marinade gets inside the meats. Makes it nice and soft, and all the flavors, they get infused inside the meat. After a good rub, I'm just covering it and leaving it in the fridge overnight, or at least 6 hours. So I'm going to show you the chicken marinade ingredients. I change them around all the time. Sometimes I just use the salt and pepper, some dried herbs, some garlic, salt, cayenne pepper, and just basic seasoning. And other times I use some of the chili sauces, bit of salt and pepper, sometimes just the tandoori masala. So today I'm using a mix of everything. The list of ingredients: I have tandoori masala powder. This masala is quite mild, so you can use it up to 2 teaspoons or a bit more. I have olive oil, salt, red chili powder, some ginger and garlic, some lime and lemon, garlic salt, cayenne chili pepper, and salt and pepper. I have chicken here which is in the skin. You can always use without skin, but I like to roast it in the skin, and the weight is roughly 1 kg. Now for each kg of weight you need like 1 level teaspoon of salt and red chili, and for extra every kilo you add half a teaspoon each. I start by squeezing some lemon all over the chicken. You can use the lemon and the lime. So I'm just going to mix the marinade ingredients to push it inside the skin. I have some olive oil here, adding 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of red chili, about 2 to 3 teaspoons of tandoori masala, some grated ginger and garlic, you can use the paste, but when you grate it fresh ginger and garlic, it smells really nice and it's worth it. You can always use some kaffir lime leaves, curry leaves. These are the curry leaves I'm using here, or the bay leaves in the ingredients, just to add some nice smell. And just a sprinkle of garlic salt, cayenne chili pepper, some roasted milk, salt and pepper. And mixing the marinade ingredients. Now I'm pouring some of the marinade ingredients on top of the chicken, some inside the cavity, and then I'm using the teaspoon to push the ingredients inside the skin. You can reach from either sides, through the neck and from under the breast. And giving it a good rub. You will need a bit less seasoning and spices when you're cooking it without the skin, because when it's in the skin it can use a bit more seasoning and spicing and the other ingredients. So after this I'm going to cover it and leave it to rest overnight. Now I'm just going to add some vegetables to my roast as well. I have some floury potatoes here which are peeled and washed, and I'm just going to cut them into chunks or just into quarters. Just adding them to the roasting tray, and I do the same with the carrots. You can always use choice of your own vegetables like turnips, sweet potatoes, squash, or just any which you like to use in your roast. And just adding a good drizzle of olive oil. Some milk, salt and pepper. A wee sprinkle of tandoori and some dried herbs, and you can add any Italian herbs you like. You can use the fresh ones or the dried ones. I just have the dried ones just now, which I'm using a sprinkle of my favorite ones, which is thyme and oregano. Now I'm just using this piece of foil for tying the legs. You can always use the chef string or something else. Now for roasting trays you can use the terracotta ones, you can use the Pyrex or the metal ones, and you can always use the ones which has a rack on top, so you put the chicken on top and the vegetables goes underneath. But I like to cook the vegetables with the chicken because I like all the juices to go on top of the vegetables. In my method of roasting, I put it on quite high temperature, but I need to cover it so it does not burn. It's going to go on 220 degrees to begin with. to seal it with foil. Goes inside the preheated oven on 220 degrees on the middle shelf. To begin with, I'm going to leave it for an hour on high temperature, then going to lower it to medium low. This is the marinated lamb which is going with the chicken. Just sealing it with foil, and it goes in. After an hour, reduce the temperature to 200 degrees and leave it for another 45 minutes to 1 hour. After 45 minutes, check the meats. They should be cooked by now. Lamb can take a bit longer than this, so this is looking ready. The juices are running clear and it's cooked. I'm just leaving it uncovered for a few minutes to slightly brown it and making the skin crispy. While the lamb is cooking, I'm just going to sift through the juices and using them for making gravy. You can use either of the gravies or use both. I'm just going to show you a few ingredients which you can use to make this gravy. I'm using the juices. It's better to taste the seasoning in them. You can always add a bit more water to dilute them down. And you can add some gravy granules or corn flour or the plain flour to thicken it, bit of seasoning and some dried herbs. So 1 or 2 tablespoons of gravy granules I'm using, and a wee little sprinkle of the Italian seasoning and herbs. And that's it. Once it's thickened, it's ready. This is our roast chicken and lamb, which I'm serving with the roast vegetables and gravy at the side.